Hey everyone. I have put a lot of work into cleaning up our new Clay email waterfall, and I wanted to show everyone the new things that we've been doing and give a little bit of a tour of what I think is important in email waterfall and all of the things that we do. So the first thing about this template is we will sometimes get our data from Clay, the underlying data set. The underlying data set in Clay has gotten light years better. We just use some other data providers sometimes because it just fits into our workflow a little bit better. But the underlying data set inside of Clay has gotten a lot better, and we can upload any other data set in here. So we will start with either a CSV import or the Clay data. And so the first things that we want to do with our email waterfall is we want to confirm that the person works at the company that we think that they work at. So you won't have this problem too often when you're using the underlying Clay data set, but enrich person from profile is very, 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 very updated. This is I don't know of any other platform except for maybe Wizza that has LinkedIn data as updated as enrich person from profile over here. So we will run this in order to find where is this person currently working and where's their current experience. So you'll see we'll have this work confirmation group over here. So we will take the LinkedIn company ID, not from their LinkedIn profile here, from the data that we uploaded to just confirm, hey, we think they work at the place that they should be working at. So this is the LinkedIn company ID of the company we think that we're targeting. And then we will filter for their current experience. And then we'll filter that current experience for the LinkedIn company ID. Sometimes the LinkedIn company ID is null, which you can see here. And so here we'll just do a match on the company name. For some reason, the URL was null. But in these other ones, you could see that we had the electronique. And so we can confirm, yes, at scale, for all intents and purposes, we believe this person works at the company that they're originally pulled with the filters that we pulled from whatever database. And then we'll filter that and we'll say work confirmed over here. And now our new email waterfall starts with a lookup into HubSpot, because what we are starting to find is that we're hammering our email partners a ton, and we want to stop hammering our email partners so much. And so we will actually keep our data in our HubSpot account, and then we'll do a lookup. If they are confirmed for where they worked, we will do a lookup. And if the last time that this email was verified is less than 90 days ago, which I think we can really go to 180 days ago, it doesn't really matter, then we will output the email from HubSpot that we already have. Now, this is our test data, so we have a lot of emails here because I was playing around with it. But right here, we'll say, hey, this email was already verified in the past. You don't need to run the waterfall again for them. They're going to be good. And so the first thing now that we'll do is, if we do not have an email address in our HubSpot for this contact, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to validate the email. And so I wanted to make sure that our waterfall had no single point of failure. So we have 3 verification vendors, and then we are using multiple email finding vendors as well too. But if any of them fail, it's not like we won't move on to the next one. So first and foremost, we're going to use Lead Magic. We're using Lead Magic mostly because of speed here. They're just really, really fast. They get the job done super fast. And then we use Prospeo. Prospeo has been bread and butter ever since I worked at Clay multiple years ago. And then we use Kit as well. I really like the founder of Kit, but we just put them kind of third. Lead Magic is just the fastest, and that's just the only reason we put them up front here. And I mean, I find the accuracy to be pretty interchangeable with everybody. So if there is an email address from the data that we uploaded into this table, we will first validate the email over here. Then if we do not get a valid email, we will try to guess the email with Lead Magic first, then ICPs, then Prospeo. Now, the big reason here that we're not using the normal Clay waterfall is, I think one thing, and I've been telling the Clay engineers to fix this since I worked at Clay. So don't blame me. And I've told them multiple times. And if any of them watch this video, I'm telling you again. The only problem with the way the Clay waterfall sits today is if Lead Magic finds an email, Zero Bounce validates it. And Zero Bounce says, hey, this is a catch-all email. It's going to keep running everything because it's going to say, oh, Lead Magic didn't find a valid email. Let's move on to Prospeo. Oh, Prospeo didn't find a valid email. Let's move on to ICPs. And so the problem with that is the domain is a catch-all domain, not the email. And so once it's validated once as catch-all, you're never going to be able to validate that email. And so it just kind of wastes credits as you keep going. So the way I opt for this is Lead Magic has some kind of catch-all verification. ICPs has their own catch-all verification. Prospeo has their own kind of catch-all verification. This is just baked into here. I'm just going to trust them. If any of them find an email address, we're going to move them to the email waterfall over here. And that's just going to be what we're doing. And so it's not going to be like Lead Magic finds one and then Prospeo finds a different one. For our intents and purposes, we send 3 million cold emails a month. We'll probably beat that this month, actually. I like we have enough volume with this that I'm happy with this setup. And then we'll get the email waterfall over here. Now, one problem that I have with third-party verification tools, the tools that we use Debounce and we use Instantly. Neither of them allow for auto top-up on charges. And so what I mean by that is none of them allow to just automatically bill my credit card. So we will run out of credits for these pretty often, and it'll just break our workflows. And so I am not really married to Debounce. I think Debounce is okay. The only reason they're in our workflows still to this day, quite frankly, is just because we have over 500 clay tables or something, and it's just in here. And for us to change Debounce from all those clay tables would just take an enormous amount of effort, and we're just not going to be able to do it. Instantly's email verification, I have to say, is probably the best email verification we've ever used. It is absolutely phenomenal. I can take a screenshot. I don't know how I would share it with you all. Actually, let me try to pause. Okay, I got it because I think this is important. Here we go. Where are you going to send this many emails? This campaign has no follow-up emails, by the way. So these are all net new emails. Where are you going to find an email validation process that gets you these kind of results at this scale with this bounce rate? I don't know. I really am a big fan of Instantly's verification. Yes, this is using this current email waterfall that I'm showing you. That's how we got these results. But they all finished off with the Instantly verification, and I'm just a very happy camper with that. And so let's just go back. And so we will finish it off with the Instantly verification over here, and we'll get credits for that. Like I said, they don't have auto top-up, so sometimes my team will say, oh, it didn't get added to the campaign because we ran out of Instantly credits, and I hate it when they say that. So we built into the conditional formula in here, if the Instantly verification column fails, then if this fails at all, then Debounce is going to run. If Debounce fails at all, then what we're going to, because Debounce doesn't have auto top-ups on credits as well too. If Instantly and Debounce fail, for the time being, we'll just trust these providers, and whatever email they output here would just automatically get put into our master email column, which then feeds into our smart lead over here. And so the thing I would say is that, so basically we're using multiple providers now. There's no single point of failure. If we run out of credits with any of our providers, it's just going to move on to the next one. And even if we run out of this double verification over here, maybe we might get a couple thousand that didn't get double verified, but I trust these providers enough that it's fine. I know Jesse personally. I really like the stuff that he builds. I've been the biggest fan of Prospeo for the longest amount of time. I love it. When we run tests with ICPs, he is the most likely that if he says it's valid, it's the most likely they themselves that it's going to be valid. So I just like doing this stuff a lot. And then we finally just have our system for caching things. We have the timestamp in here, and then we look up to see if it exists in HubSpot. If it looks up, we just update it. And then if it doesn't, we create it. And so this is basically just a recreation of our waterfall. Big things here is no single point of failure. 2, if there's a catch-all domain, we'll only let one provider try to find it. And we're not even going to try to mess around and let any other providers try to find it. And then 3, we're using the LinkedIn data to confirm that the people work where we think that they work. And as you can see, that document that I showed you with that screenshot has been using this ever since we launched that campaign, which was only like a month ago because your boy hammers volume over here. And so I just wanted to show that this is the way we're doing our waterfall now in case it would help anybody else create their own waterfall. Last thing, sometimes people will use like every provider in the waterfall. If you know how the sausage is made, that's not totally necessary to be able to do that. So let it rip and you're going to be fine. This is just our new updated waterfall inside of clay.com.